of the Monday FAFO. Today we have the man, the myth, the psychedelic legend of YouTube, MycoGeeky, who's coming on to just fucking bullshit, really. I haven't talked to him in a little bit.
No topic.
How you doing, buddy?
Well, I just peeled out of bed. I'm half naked and drinking a cup of coffee out of one of my tasty, sexy mugs.
Awesome.
Well, I mean, that's basically how we all roll, is just naked on the podcast.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I'm in my boxers. What the fuck?
Perfect. It's easier to itch your balls that way.
Yeah, that's what I have. That's why I'm still looking for a fluffer. That's what fluffers jobs are for.
Yeah, man. Well, thanks for having me on. You know, I've been friends with you guys for, real close to since I got into this. So, of course, when you asked, I was like, okay, what took you so long? Let's do it.
Dude, you know what? I actually, when I talked to you to see if you wanted to come on the show, I fucking went all the way back to find out when I was talking to you on Reddit.
Uh-huh.
That was
it's been a long time.
And I didn't even realize how long ago that was.
Damn, that's so long that I forgot I ever talked to anyone on Reddit.
Right?
I try to block out bad memories.
Reddit was bad things. But you're one of the first people I brought over to my server. So I was So I was like, it's all fun.
What was the name of the Reddit at the time? But it got closed down. And then it was Spore World or something like that. Or
wait,
I
what?
don't remember. The Reddit was like the Reddit channel we were all like on.
Oh, okay. I don't even fucking know. I was on like 4 of them. That's how I found everybody. That's because
it probably had the word spore or mush in the title.
Yeah.
That'd be a fair guess. I'm thinking.
But it would get, one of them would get closed down, and somebody would invite everybody to another one, and it would get closed down, and everybody invited to another one.
Yeah.
Discord's
or like Discord channels, right? It's everyone wants to be in the new and exciting Discord. So if you've been on Discord long enough,
seeing the same people over and over,
just moving from one to the other, it's like, okay, oh cool, my 19 mods. Oh cool, half of you guys are now modding for this server because it's a little more exciting because it's brand new and everybody's got a low energy behind it.
And it's exactly what it is. Oh yeah, I love helping people. And then seeing them when I go somewhere else to help other people, see them asking the same question. You just walk them through for an hour, asking the same question, just like they have nothing better to do than waste people's time.
I swear they cut and paste it.
Even though I watched you
Discord to Discord,
yeah. Well, people do that all the time, and on one level, I get it because it's sort of like making a decision on consensus. Like I'm going to ask 30 people the same question and whatever, majority rule. I'll go with whatever most people say. But on the flip side, if somebody goes to you, like not me, but you, and they say, oh, I saw you on Geeky's podcast. I know you've been growing for 30 years. I'm going to ask you what to do, but then you're just going to factor in as like one little, tiny piece of the equation. Yeah.
I want 3 votes, not 1, bitch. 3.
You get. I feel like you're good for at least 8 votes. This needs to be like, what is it? How in Congress, right? Like the bigger the state, the more votes they get. It's got to be.
We need a mycology college. What is it? Myco college.
We do. We need an electromycology college
for my electoral vote. Nice.
Yeah. So. Man, there's so many videos. I just remember, I know, so for Farrell, your experience is different because you learned before there was any tech and online resources. You learned from a person, the old school way. You tried things. It's not like that anymore. It's let's watch 5,000 videos and eventually cave and finally give it a go.
It was back then. It was just like, you had to
fuck around and find out. It's basically what it was.
And then they give you like partial fucking information because they didn't really exactly know what they were doing either.
Yeah.
And then it really was just experiment. And it's hard to get it through this newer generation of people that like it's okay to just literally fuck around.
But they get handed everything, so they need to get handed this as well.
Yeah, they just get answers. They don't. I mean, a good example. I remember my first algebra teacher. It was an old Italian guy, and everyone hated him, but me and just a handful of people. And I liked the guy because he did not test. His tests were not like solve these equations. His tests were always just derive these proofs. So you had to literally show how whatever, true formula of math you were learning about, why it worked. You had to explain it. And he was like, you don't have to memorize shit if you know how to derive everything. I understood algebra at a fundamental level. And from that point on, I just killed math because I learned to think. That's gone now. Who needs to think? No, you just say, hey, Siri, what's the capital of Texas?
It drives me nuts because you talk to people and then I think that also has to do with the whole hobby thing, because people lack creativity now, and they don't have to do anything. So I ask people all the time that I work with. I work with a bunch of younger guys, right? Like that are just in their early 20s and just super awesome to get into medicine. And you ask them, so what do you do for fun? What kind of hobbies do you have? I watch Netflix. That's not a hobby. That's an activity.
No hobbies.
Yeah, they have no hobbies, no other interests in life. It's like, what do you do when you're home? Do you just shut off? I call them an NPC, right? Because it's like literally they just go home and power the fuck down, and that's it. That's like their life. Maybe they jack off a few times, but that's it. They don't do anything, nothing. And I'm
right before the podcast.
The hobbies now, it's yourself. So your hobby is exercising and your diet and your clothes, because it's just like this super self-obsessed culture we live in. I'm happy about people being healthy, but don't do it just so you can take like that Instagram photo of your fucking six-pack abs. Like, come on, man.
That's why Farrell's got Photoshop. You've never seen Farrell's six-pack?
Oh, it's funny.
But it's like it's like the mushrooms on Instagram, dude. How many times do you think those have not been photoshopped?
We were just talking about that. I'm not going to name names.
I'm not going to name names. You're talking about the blue-white one?
The blue-white one, yeah. And, what are you going to do? I mean, here's the thing. We're in an Instagram world, so everybody's using filters. Everybody's filtering everything. Nothing's real anymore.
Exactly.
Except their voices.
No, and then everybody gets sad.
Not even that, dude. I could make you sound like the prettiest woman in the world on Adobe Audition.
Oh, I know you can, but we haven't. Yes.
No, we haven't. Yes. We haven't needed to fake a female co-host.
My wife was like, "Oh man, you're streaming in 1040p. Are you sure you don't want me to powder your face before you go on?" And I was like, "Why? Why? No, I don't. I'm comfortable with who I am. I understand the aging process. I understand that I'm not the sexiest nor the ugliest person on earth, and I'm okay with that. And I don't spend any of my time worrying about that shit."
Right?
That's a good part about being just on the radio,
Well, yeah. I don't have to worry about what I look like.
You don't know how good looking I am. I could be a fucking model, or I could be an ugly model. You don't know.
Yeah, and these days you can be an ugly model. So either way.
Right. Exactly. You never know what kind of model I am.
Those kids. Nah, my wife spends a lot of time making herself look real pretty, and it's fine with me. But that's just kind of a cultural thing.
Carol, is she right there behind you? Are you scared? If you're scared,
no, no, she's still asleep. We went out last night and had a couple of margaritas, and we took. There's a lot of really cool things in San Antonio. So there's like this family place. It's like a family bar. Okay, so it's like you could go and have like good food, and there's a huge playground for kids. Like a huge playground. They're right there. Like you just sit in the playground basically, and like our daughter just running up and down and going through slides and just having a great time. We're like, yeah, she's gonna sleep good tomorrow. This is like the best idea ever. It was just like a whole bunch of families with a shitload of like kids under like 9, and just playing in this slides and stuff. I was like, this is awesome.
This sounds like McDonald's with beer, dude.
Oh yeah,
kind of. Yeah,
this McDonald's with beer. Yeah, they get it. They know the formula.
It was a genius. I was like, man, this place is great. My kid gets exhausted. I get a buzz. It's happiness and sunshine right here.
Yeah.
And the wife's off for the holidays, so she's chilling. She's sleeping in, and the daughter's out hard because she played till like midnight last night. So she's out. So it's just me and the smoker right now, which is fine.
Did
and
you
my
get
old
it clean?
dog.
But did you get the smoker clean yet?
The smoker was clean already. I always put it away clean.
Oh,
I had to go wash my damn self. So what happened is like, it's got a lot of meat, right? I got 8 racks of ribs on there and 5 chickens. So spatchcock chickens. I love spatchcock. I actually think I learned that.
Spatchcocking is the way to go, dude.
Yeah, I learned it from that one smoke show guy you mentioned in the green room.
Anderson.
The Anderson smoke show guy. That's where I actually learned that, like the way he chops next to the breastbone and then yanks it out. It was like, I was like, sweet. So I'm just all about that because it fits way better on the friggin' smoker and it cooks faster, like a lot faster.
Yep.
So I got everything going. Processed the meat last night after everybody crashed. Got the smoker going, but then I got done and I was coming in and I was like, I realized I had like rub all the way to my freaking elbows. And I was like, oh, I'll wash my hands. And then I washed my hands and I touched my shirt. And I was like, how the hell did I get rubbed? I bathed in it. I don't know what happened. But so I had to take a minute to get ready this morning.
Other than chicken marinade.
So your rub did what it was supposed to do.
It went everywhere. It rubbed everything. Yeah. I probably have it in my freaking hair, but it's great.
It's a good moisturizer.
Yeah, I like cooking, man. It's a lot of fun. I think that goes real well with the hobby overall.
Oh,
like, you see a lot of people that are growing mushrooms that actually like to cook too.
Well, not only that, but a lot of people I've had on have a background in, working in a kitchen, being a chef or a sous chef or just, somebody in the kitchen anyway. So there does seem to be a connection.
Process. Yeah.
Yep.
And a lot of them scientifically minded. They're usually detail oriented.
Usually,
they're clean. Ones. Yeah. If they worked at a decent kitchen, they're pretty sanitary. Yeah. Yeah.
We've had many people we had to tell.
I was gonna say I don't want to. I was gonna say
out of the fucking shit. Yeah. Stop.
They don't know what ISO is.
Yeah. No, you cannot spawn that open air on your toilet.
Oh, speaking of ISO, I got an ISO story for you. So, you always hear people saying about they get nervous when they go buy certain supplies related to mushroom cultivation, and they always worry about what to say. So yesterday I was at the Dollar Tree. I bought, I think, 15 bottles, $1 isopropyl alcohol. And the lady goes, "Why are you buying so much isopropyl alcohol?" And I go, to drink it. And she just got this look. She didn't say another word. It was like, oh my God. She didn't say, don't do that, you'll die. Don't do that, you'll get sick.
No,
do you need help? Not. It was just quiet. Like, oh. Because I said it real serious. Like, I drink it.
She saw you before the news article that she sees the next day.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. You should see. Some of my shopping carts are like so fucking sketchy. And then it's like, what do you got there? Because I got butcher supplies because I do a lot of my own processing of my own animals. Mm-hmm. So I've got like rope, twine, a pulley, new meat saw blades. Yeah, duct tape, a couple of files, a new axe head, like a whole bunch of shit, And it's like
tarps.
I'm like, huh.
Shovel line. Like, oh. Yep.
So people are like, so what are you doing this weekend? I was like, oh, just killing some shit. And then nobody ever fucking makes eye contact with you. Like nobody's
not at that anything. Point.
Do they have a fucking button? It's like they don't have a button to push. Like they're not gonna push and be like, oh shit, that guy. They don't give a crap. Like, in fact, you probably just give them a story to tell. If somebody else honestly asked me, like, if I was buying like 15 bottles of isopropyl alcohol, I'd be like, I would just stare at them and go, "Boof it," I just fuck it, let them Google it. It'll make their day.
Let them figure it out.
Yeah,
they won't Google it though. I mean, so in the emergency room, it's ironic because all the things, people come in for the dumbest shit, and you're like, why did you think that your slightly sore elbow, was liver cancer? Well, I Googled it. WebMD said so. And so you're just like, stop doing that. But then other people, where they come in and it's like, oh, I got a bad headache. Have you taken anything for your headache? No. Why didn't you? I don't know. I wanted you to check it out. Or it's like, so like when you would want them to Google something so that they would get just the most obvious response of what to do, they never Google it. But when it's something dumb that doesn't deserve to be in the ER, they Google it. Yeah. It's always that way.
My favorite shit is like, I was really sick yesterday. Okay, so what did you come in yesterday? I had to work. Yeah, I had to work. And so it's like,
I feel fine today.
I feel better.
Right.
It's like we can't retroactively diagnose you. Okay, what was wrong? You might have had food poisoning. Let me consult the crystal ball because you're fine today.
Right. They do that all the time. Yeah, they'll come in for chest pain they had 3 days ago. Oh, yeah. Could you rate your pain, sir? 0 to 10. Like a 1 or a 2. Okay, what was it yesterday? Oh, it was an 8. Okay, it resolved on its own. How long did it last? About 13 seconds. Wow.
And then you run their troponin and find out it's 15,000.
I've never had that hurt anymore.
But, oh, dude, I had the highest troponin I've ever seen in my freaking life from a guy who was like, "Yeah, I thought I had indigestion."
Fuck is troponin?
It's a cardiac enzyme.
Yeah. So it's a stress enzyme only released by cardiac tissue under like when it's really stressed out or dying, or it's like the swan song of cardiac tissue.
Yeah.
It means something bad's happening.
Yeah, there you go. That's good enough. That's good enough for me.
Yeah. So this guy was like, I thought I had indigestion for a couple of days, but now today I just can't catch my breath. And we're like, okay.
There you go.
So we pop a troponin on him, and this guy's like, he's wandering in and out of the ER to go smoke because he just won't sit still, right? But he comes back in, and we're like, hey, maybe your shortness of breath has to do with you smoking, bro. Anyway,
nothing helps shortness of breath like smoking.
Yeah. And this is like a little standalone ER, which is a big thing in this part of the world. With like walk-in standalone ERs. And his troponin comes back at like 15,500. We're like, holy shit. And then
there you go.
We're like, let's run that again. Let's just run it again. It comes back 15,583. And we're like, and he's like, I'm going to go smoke. We're like, you're going to sit right the fuck there and just not do anything. Don't even blink. Just stop. Because you have the highest troponin. You've got it turns out he had a quad blockage. And the only reason he still had blood flow to his heart is he had an aneurysm off the side of his freaking left ascending. Yeah. His lad had a freaking aneurysm that allowed the blood flow to go around the blockage. And that's the only reason he had any heart work.
Well, so that doesn't happen every day. That's pretty rare. I've never heard of it, but I believe it. I believe it.
Pretty spectacular. We took him right into the cath lab, and they were like, "Holy shit!" And we're like, "Yeah, it's cool, right?"
Lucky motherfucker, dude. That's a lucky dude.
He was an old guy, like he was in his maybe late 70s. Smoked his whole life, drank his whole life. Old, kind of like redneck type. It's like, I mean, you just couldn't kill him. He just developed a new pathway. But yeah,
that's why every time I hear somebody going to the nth degree to be healthy, they want to live forever. It's like, you're the guy that's going to get hit by a car tomorrow. Karma is just going to go, you're trying way too hard, dude. We're going to take care of this.
It's like that one that Dr. Atkins guy that was all big on that shit, then he died from an icicle hitting him in the head in the morning.
Yeah. Well, most of this stuff, as long as you avoid accidents, most of like your longevity and whether you're going to die or develop anything, it's all genetics. Yeah. I mean, you can be the healthiest person in the world, and you see it all the time. like there's that big time Fisher guy. Like I watched him on that Black Tip, I think is his name, on YouTube, and he just got colorectal cancer that went metastasized, and like the guy's like a big time like outdoor fitness freak and stuff like that, and it's like, well, it runs in his family, and so you've got like you get these like Instagram type super fitness people, and then they die of thyroid cancer because it runs in their family. It's like, you've got to. It's more important, I believe, for you to live a reasonably healthy lifestyle, nothing to crazy excess, right? Like, you can't just recreationally use methamphetamines and expect to live forever. But like, you can live, drink every once in a while, not to excess, freaking smoke a cigar on the freaking weekends.
So no fun. Don't have any fun is what you're saying.
But like,
he's saying have just a controlled amount of fun.
A controlled amount of fun, but I think it's very important to get one of those genetic profiles to see what you are susceptible to. Like, because you can get a over-the-counter genetic test right now that'll tell you, like, hey, you have all the markers for breast cancer. Like, you are very susceptible to it.
You can go to one of those genetic testing places, pay about $1,000, and you can get tested for all the proto-oncogenes that they know about, which are basically genes that predispose you to certain cancers. Yeah. This is what Angelina Jolie did, and why she made the decision to chop her boobs off before she got breast cancer, because she understood and she was being given good information. Like, okay, so your mom and your grandmother like died before the age of 60 from breast cancer. You're gonna fucking get breast cancer. They ran the test, and so they now have these tests where it can say, so okay, you have this proto-oncogene for breast cancer, and you are 100% likely to die by the age of 80. You're 90% likely to die by the age of 70. And they can basically give you the data of saying when you're most likely to get it by. And then you can make a good decision because, man, once it metastasizes, if you got Mets in certain places, you're absolutely done for. And some of these cancers, you don't have symptoms till you're stage 4. So it makes a lot of sense to $1,000 to do that test. Like, find all that out.
Yeah.
Then oh, okay, if I'm predisposed to colorectal cancer, maybe I'm not going to wait till I'm 45 to get my first colonoscopy. Right.
Colonoscopies for everyone.
Everybody all around.
Yeah.
But now, so going off of that, let me tell you this. I watched a video one day, and apparently this guy that used to work at health insurance companies, and then I guess he started out in other insurance, but in health insurance was what he was primarily talking about. He said, so all these insurers have just robust data sets, and they've had them for years. And he said, insurance companies, they've run these algorithms. This is way before computers were running algorithms for them. They were running their own manual algorithms. And so they could look at somebody and say, okay, we know all these things about this person. We can guess when they're going to die within 5 years. And apparently now that they're using AI and they're using more robust data sets and they're collecting better information on people, they can pinpoint your death to within a few months. And they're like 95% accurate. Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
I'm like,
I love it.
Tell me mine.
Let's do
I
this.
want to know.
Yeah.
I just want to know. I want to strategize my life based on this fucking information.
Also give me the goal, because like it's the same thing with like, to me, I'd look at like Google Maps. Like when Google Maps gives me an arrival time, I'm like, fucking gonna beat it. You know?
Challenge accepted.
Yeah. 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 Oh, that's every time I'm like, I beat it by 2 minutes. Or
it doesn't matter. It's just, you just gotta win. You just gotta win.
Just gotta win.
You're behind. You're like, look at. I bet you I could make up some time going to that supermarket, parking lot. Screw those lights.
Exactly.
But
crazy times. Did you guys hear that? What is that major investment company? BlackRock. Oh, BlackRock. Right. Major. BlackRock is always associated with many a conspiracy theory. They're just a really powerful investment firm. They're definitely the people in the ivory towers. They're definitely not a compassionate entity. Anyway, they just acquired Ancestry.com for like $7 billion.
So they have all your genetic data.
So they now own everybody's DNA.
That's great.
And of course, they issued a press release that said, "Oh no, we're just doing it because their business model." They made it all about the numbers and the profile. That's like, no, that's not why you're doing it. I know why you're doing it.
And that precedes. There was a court case a couple of years ago where they were talking about whether or not you own your genetic code once you have submitted it to a company to run it, right?
Yeah,
it's like and that I don't remember actually seeing a resolution on that.
Well, I'm sure that before you do that, you're signing your life away. Terms and conditions. Yeah. Remember, terms and conditions.
Exactly.
Now, sure, terms and conditions, but the problem is if they really start being malicious with it, it would not be hard to get a class action lawsuit going. And I could see that going straight to the Supreme Court. And at that point, they make really broader decisions because if you got 50 million people pissed off at Ancestry.com, I mean, their business model's fucked. If you got 50 million people shit talking your company and, you win your court case, but you're going to lose your business model because now everybody goes, well, fuck Ancestry.com.
Dude, I've been saying fuck them. Right? I've been saying that for years because I've always, what I've been saying is, listen, all you're doing, because you get that stuff and they get like twins, right? And the twins, they both have different fucking shit. So obviously it's not correct. But what they do have now is all of your information. So when, say, some dumbass bumbling president or something needs a kidney, they know where to go, right? So now they basically have a database.
Yeah, I never even thought about that.
They have a database of wherever they need to go for the VIPs of the world. Right.
I think it kind of comes down to more like, like Minority Report. Like, do you own your DNA if you keep leaving it everywhere? Right? Like, because you should scan.
And see, for me, it comes down to, what do you mean by own it? Like, do I have the right to what? I don't even know what that means.
Decide what like other people do with it. Is it ethical to clone you if you left DNA on that dress? Like, can we? Because you obviously you already threw it away. So do you want it? Do you need it? Do you still own it? Like 5 years from now, if somebody finds a freaking fingernail of yours, can they do whatever they want with your DNA? Like clone it, do something like that, because you discarded that, piece of you. So, and that's where the court case was going. Is like if you submitted it or it was found or something like that, like who actually owns it?
Right.
And they were trying to tie in criminal cases to that too. If the person left behind DNA, who actually owns it?
It's like if you take a dump, is it yours once you flush it down the toilet?
Exactly. They could get
I think it's not.
They've done DNA from that.
Yeah.
They've gotten DNA from that.
So, I mean, they've solved many a court case doing nothing but going, okay, so we have DNA. We don't have this guy's DNA, but we can submit it and we can compare it in Ancestry.com and we can find nearest relatives. And then they start talking to relatives and they go, oh, yeah, we got a creepy uncle. His name's Bill. You knock on Bill's door. He's got a bunch of fucking dead bodies in his house. Okay, there you go.
Yeah. But they found that fraternal twin of a murderer not long ago doing that Ancestry.com stuff. They just submitted basically a warrant for the DNA profile.
See, now on that level, man, I mean, you think about violent crimes, you think about rape cases, and you're sitting there going, man, if everybody's DNA was in a database, we could lock up. I mean, man, the number of rapists that get convicted versus the number of rapists there are, I bet it's like 1 to 30. They don't convict a lot of them. It'd be great to lock up rapists. It'd be sometimes good to lock up racists too, depending.
Damn it! See, I told you what you're not supposed to talk about. How long did we get in there before you brought it up? How long?
29 minutes. 29 minutes.
We did it.
It's a record. It's a record. It's a record. That's good.
I spoke generally about a hypothetical super bad racist. Yeah. But yeah, so there's a lot of sides of the coin to these questions because, for me, this is to get super philosophical. any of these debates, you have the individual to be concerned about. Like, as an individual, what would you want to do? What freedoms would you want? What protections would you want? And then if you look at things broadly as a giant community of people, whether you're looking at Americans or you're looking at humanity globally, or you're looking at a certain demographic, then you can go, well, there are things that I could infringe a little bit upon your individual right, and there would be ultimately some benefit for people as a whole. So that line, that's a hard line to find, right? Like that's how all the shit that started with Bush Jr., where it was like, okay, now we need Homeland Security, and we can basically wiretap anybody on Earth, and you can't do anything about it, all in the name of, protecting our country. How far is too far? On one level, I'm like, man, if you can wiretap me or my neighbor and you can prevent a terrorist attack, great. On the flip side, I'm like, but if you're going to find out I'm doing a podcast about growing mushrooms and all of a sudden I get a knock on my door, I'm not okay with that.
Right. Yeah.
What do you do? It's that's why my whole thing is any of these debates, any of these ongoing debates, there isn't a right side. This is why they're ongoing debates, right? Like pro-life, pro-choice, homelessness, God, why am I drawing a blank? Death penalty, right? Like all these things, there are pluses and minuses to both sides. It's hard to, there's no clear-cut winner.
I'd be a benevolent dictator. Like, I'd be great. I'd be great at this. Because I've got a reasonably gray area moral compass. I've got this. Like, we'll speed up like the death penalty. They're not going to sit there for 20 years.
No, because yeah, that's the problem. I remember somebody said one time, oh, well, you can't just lock up a murderer because then taxpayers are going to be paying for that, pay for incarceration for the rest of their life. If you got a serial killer at the age of 30, you're going to pay for him to be in prison for another 30 plus years. And I looked up the data one time. The problem is death row inmates on average cost the state they're in like $2.5 million to go through the appeal process because they all appeal, right? So it's actually cheaper to just lock a guy up for the rest of his life on average than it is to put him on death row because you avoid that appeal process. Until you're emperor and then heads roll. Yeah, I mean, 100%. Some heads need to just roll. Oh, we've caught you molesting boys on 5 occasions.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that guy just needs to go. That guy needs to get kicked off a cliff.
Straight to the wood chipper. Yeah.
There's a special wood chipper for each occasion.
Yeah.
No, it's just we'll just use the same one. We'll just rent it from like Sun Rentals or something. And just so that we don't have to have the expense of actually buying.
Oh, no, because you want to put on a show sometimes. If this is like a really creepy fuck,
it's the
you
Roman
want a really nice
playbook.
One.
No,
right, that blows the shit out of the crowd. And then it's like the fucking Insane Clown Posse in Fago. Fucking, yeah!
I don't want to put on a show.
Fans.
I just want to have, there's just going to be a quiet-ass lake that is full of catfish. And you just wood chip them into the lake. And then now you feed those catfish back to the inmates.
But I don't know. I like this Insane Clown Posse Fago correlation because it definitely brings new meaning to the phrase Fago Red Pop.
Right. See?
I guess you.
Sorry, I had to make one Michigan-oriented joke while I was here.
It's all good.
I've checked off that box.
I
love Fago Red Pop. Have you guys ever? I assume Deadpool's had Fago Red Pop.
Oh yes, of course.
And what's great about Fago Red Pop is, of course, right, if you drink grape soda, it's not called purple soda. It's called grape soda because it tastes like grapes, or orange soda because it tastes like oranges. But Fago Red Pop, they were so audacious. They said, we don't care what the fuck this tastes like. We're just going to call it a color.
It just tastes
it cherries?
Like red.
Is it strawberries? We don't know. It's somewhere around there. Let's just call it Fago Red Pop.
Like, have you tried the Monster Ultraviolet? It doesn't taste
all the
like
new stuff.
anything.
I haven't.
It just tastes
I haven't
like
drank
purple.
No, none of that
it literally
stuff. I
tastes
can't do
like the color purple. Like if you if you remember your childhood and smelling those smellable purple markers,
yeah,
it tastes like the color purple. Like you can't. It doesn't taste like grape. Just fucking generic purple. Like you taste it.
Now, does it taste? When you say it tastes like the color purple, do you mean it tastes like the actual color purple, or do you mean it tastes like the movie The Color Purple?
I like synesthesia level purple. Like you get,
okay.
You drink it and you go like that's purple, and it's everybody's reaction because like they give them away for free in the hospitals here, like Monsters and shit like that to us. Because
wait, they give away to EMS.
Okay.
Oh yeah, man, we got fucking
talking
caviar
about
in our
patient.
EMS room. Yep.
Yeah, they bring like we got Monsters and like sandwiches and shit like that. Just so that
Russian
like,
caviar.
Hey. No, we don't have anything like that. But like they've gotten better about like healthier stuff. So like I love apples. I eat it.
How is Monster considered healthy?
It's not. But they don't care. Obviously, they don't care.
Yeah.
That's for EMS. They just want you to. I mean, literally, this is
they
what
want
these
you to
ivory
stay
tower
awake and work.
do. They want you to stay awake, and they want you to come to their emergency room.
Exactly. We bring
if you have a choice, if there's ever a time where you get to go, I could go here or here. They want you to go. Oh, but this place has got the Monster energy drinks.
Exactly, and that's a lot of decision making right there.
Yeah,
they're like, hey, this hospital, that level. It's like, hey, there's a level 1 over there. There's a level 1 trauma over there. That level 1 trauma is out of Monsters. We're going to this one. They're almost the same distance.
That makes complete sense.
Hey, if they can bribe us in there, they're going to get $150,000 off it for a $2 Monster energy drink.
Oh no! I completely understand how it works, and it's brilliant. But it's just beyond me.
Yeah, Deadpool's just going, wait, but I've seen all these ads that say patient-centered care. It's just about healthcare, right? No.
Right, yeah,
no,
right.
It's not. It's about fucking money.
Money.
I know all about the medical shit. I spent a year in a fucking hospital. Believe me, I know all those. Yeah, I know those bastards are worth about nothing but fucking money.
Dude, I got a friend who works at a City of Hope hospital, and so it's all cancer, and it's all people who didn't hear what they wanted to hear from the regular hospital, and they want more options. They're trying to process terminal illness. So they go to City of Hope Hospital and they sit down and they present all their little treatment options. Like, no, you do have hope. There are options. We can, with this procedure, we can give you an extra 5 years with your loved one, or with this procedure, we can give you an extra 2. And then you say, yes, I want that. I want to, spend another 2 years with my mom. And so then they usher you into the next room and they go, so that's going to be $800,000.
Right,
do you have it? No. Oh, you don't? Did you get your house paid off? You did? Cool. Remortgage that motherfucker.
Oh, dude.
Step 1 to step 2, it's all about the money.
Look at nursing homes, bro. Like, they're so fucked up. Like, it is designed very meticulously to take everything you own and leave you with nothing to pass on to the next generation. Yeah. You start off going into like assisted living, or elderly living, or like they're like, oh, it's so fun. You've got all these old people to hang out with. And but we're gonna pay all your bills, but that shit's $10,000 a freaking month, all right?
Yeah.
For a lower end one. And they go, oh well, don't worry about it. You can always sign this power of attorney. We'll take your estate and we'll make sure you have a place to live for your entire life.
Yep.
And then you start off doing living like the life, and then you break a hip or something. Now you get downgraded to a full-on full-on nursing home, and then from there they go, okay, well you've reached your Medicare or Medicaid like limit for this month. We're going to go ahead and just transfer you to like a state home, and so they downgrade you and downgrade you and downgrade you and downgrade you until you have absolutely nothing left,
and
not
they
a
got
single
all the
dime
money.
of your freaking money. Yeah, they auction off your car, they auction off everything in your home, your entire belongings, your 401k, everything. Your family doesn't get a single dime. Your kids will never see anything of it, and it's just gone. Like generational wealth, it's the biggest grab of generational wealth that's ever happened.
100%.
Is nursing homes. Yeah.
Yeah, we just dealt with this. My wife's father passed away pretty recently, and before that, he was battling Alzheimer's for a handful of years, and he had to get upgraded. So he was staying at a place when he was more functional and on his own. So he was in a place he could afford based on his pension and shit like that. And then Alzheimer's got worse and they needed to upgrade him. And when they did the like Medicare assessment, they were like, well, he's got too much money. So if you can liquidate I think it was like 40 grand or something like that of his money, well, then he can get covered. Then he'll be broke enough to get covered by Medicare. And so my wife had, and her brother had to like consult somebody, figure out how can we just like gift this money or get rid of this money so that he can get this care he needs. And I'm just sitting there going, is this really how it goes? Like, is there not a better way to do this? Nope. It's totally fucked up.
There used to be, people used to die in place. Like you used to just like, you had like a sick mom or something like that. You'd have a mother-in-law house out back.
Right.
But and you take care of them, or maybe hire somebody to come in every once in a while and check on them or clean up their house, or
right.
You had a maid that would help out. But people don't do that anymore because dying is gross, and it really is. And so they don't want to see their family member age. You don't pay a nursing home to take care of your family member. You pay them to quietly kill them so you don't have to watch.
And because nobody wants to wipe their dad's ass.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to do that.
But
I got a little story for you. So I've worked in 2 nursing homes for a period of time. And the first one I worked in, I was, what do they call it? Nursing supervisor, 83 or 84 bed. We had 3 units. We had a vented unit that had like 10 patients, long-term patients. And then we had a long-term wing and a short-term wing that was all like, ortho rehab type of stuff, hips, knees, crap like that. And and of course I oversee everything. I got to start IVs. I got to administer IV and medication. I got to do, at this one, I had to do the narcotic passes. And so a lot of work, way too much work for one person, but they don't care. They basically, whatever the mandated minimum staffing is what every nursing home on the planet runs. So I'm working at this place, and this guy, I would say most people come to visit their loved one pretty infrequently for longer term care. I had one guy come in, the mom was going to be
3 months.
Or holidays. The mom was going to be there for, I want to say they expected her to be there for a couple months. And I honestly can't remember what she was in for. But anyway, so this was one of the patients where the son came in every single day. And every single day we weren't doing something right. Every single day there was always something that we needed to attend to and all that stuff. And if anybody knows who's worked in a nursing home, if you're the patient who has a loved one that comes in every day, you're already going to get basically the best care we can deliver, because we can't stand it if we're being constantly told we're not doing good enough with the limited resources that we have. So this woman was already being taken care of pretty well. And one day he shows up, and mom had soiled herself in the middle of the night, and the CNA was making their rounds that day, hadn't gotten to her room. So the son comes in early, discovers the mom's, sitting and sleeping in her own shit, and he gets just fucking irate. He ends up losing his mind with the administrator. He waits till the administrator shows up. Of course, she shows up late and ultimately just takes her out immediately. I'm going to take care of her. I can provide better care. And so he takes her away, and we're like, okay, good luck, buddy. And I swear to God, I think it was 6 days later, the administrator walks over to me and says, guess who I just got off the phone with? I'm like, I don't know who. That guy. Oh, yeah? What's up? Oh, he was apologizing. She's like, I never heard a grown man grovel like this. He was so apologetic and was so ready to bring his mom back. And when he brought the mom back, and he brought cake and balloons and a card and a few gift cards and all that. It was actually really great. He went around to every staff member in that place and thanked them from the bottom of his heart, saying, I had no idea how hard it is. He's like, I could not take care of one person, let alone, you guys are taking care of 84 people. He's like, hats off to you. I could never do it. You guys deserve 5 times the salary you're getting, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, yep, you're like 1 out of 1 million people that understand this.
Yeah, I refuse to do that. Like, I'm not going to get, I'm going for the iceberg type approach. If once I get old enough to actually need to go to like a nursing home or something, that I'm just going to develop like a fun drug habit. I'm like, you know what? I always wanted to try heroin. It's like, what's the fucking worst that happened? I've heard it's great. It's like, I'm not going to put my family through that. I'm not going to let them steal all the freaking money and everything we've worked our lives for. And I just I don't get why people want to live to the last freaking breath. They want to live. They want to make it. Everybody wants to make it to 100, but they don't realize the last 20 fucking years of that suck. Just like, you're stuck in a fucking bed, pissing and shitting yourself. You're in and out of the hospital all the damn time. You've got a million chronic conditions. You can't
you live for your next follow-up appointment.
Yeah. That's the only times you get out. That's literally the only times you get out.
Yep.
And you don't, you watch TV and you roll around in a wheelchair, and that's fucking if you're lucky. If you can get out of bed and sit up in a wheelchair. I don't want to do that. I've seen that way too many times. I'm perfectly happy, bungee jumping to my fucking death.
Don't steal my idea. I'm going to learn as soon as I get bad. I'm going to be the aging grandpa that wants to learn how to skydive. And then I'm going to get my certification so I can solo skydive. And then I'm going to go out and I'm just not going to pull that cord. Done. And people say, no, how could you do that to your loved ones? That's such a horrific way to go. No, it's not.
No, it's not.
That's an amazing
funeral and fucking over. And you're leaving behind. You're leaving behind
from like 3,500 feet. I'll dig my own grave just by falling into the earth. All they got to do is done.
If you're really good, you'll wear a wingsuit and you'll make it into the grave you've already paid for.
Oh, now you're at a level I don't know if I could pull off.
Oh, you've got literally your whole life to learn. Right?
Yes, right. Start now. It's never too late.
Straight into your already paid for plot.
Oh my God. That just made me think there is an opportunity for whether it's YouTube or Instagram, TikTok, whatever. Somebody needs to be like the motivational speaker, but for like nihilistic, dark ideas.
I'm fucking there. I can totally do that. I have the darkest sense of humor of anybody I know.
That would be great.
Yeah,
the new Faces of Death.
Yeah. Oh God, I remember the Faces of Death.
That was awesome.
That was back when you had to like find the kid in your town whose dad was a drug addict and had like a bin of like really fucked up videos, and then you had to befriend him just so you could go watch these. These days, the kids have it too easy. I mean, when I was young, you had to break into your uncle's bedroom hoping to find a couple porno magazines. Now it's just there for them all. They don't have to do anything.
It was all about that Sears magazine too.
The J.C. Penney's, bro. That was J.C. Penney's was the best one. Yes. J.C. Penney's, and then I think the generation after me, it was Victoria's Secret catalog. Yep. And then now it's
just straight fucking midget porn on horses.
It's everything. It's everything. You could literally play a game. The game is like invent the most absurd, ridiculous, it definitely doesn't exist porn on earth. And then every one you come up with, you could Google it and find it. Yeah.
You can just Google any word in Rule 34 and you're gonna find it. It's there.
Yeah.
Somebody has already fucking thought about it.
I mean, it's at a point where you're like, there's so much porn. Is anyone not making their own porn at this point? There's so much. Yeah. Yeah. It's gotten really, man, it's gotten really out there. Really. I remember with 2 Girls, 1 Cup, I was like, oh, yeah, this is over. This is over.
The best thing, not even the video. The best thing about that was when that's when they started having those reaction videos.
Oh yeah, the best thing about that was, of course, just showing
it.
your friend and watching them throw up. Yes.
I remember the Kermit the Frog one. That was great.
Okay, you guys got way more. I was still married at that point. I think I was like a newlywed, so I did not spend as much time watching or.
As a military, everybody passed the most fucked up shit around to each other.
We had a VCR in our fucking fucking bunks, dude.
Oh, speaking of that, do you guys remember? My grandmother had one of those big 10-foot satellite dishes that had a motor and it had to move for each satellite. Do you guys remember that?
Talking about. Oh
yeah. So she had that.
Probably cook popcorn in front of because of radiation. Shit.
Yes. So she had one of those, but of course she was still pretty broke. Somebody basically said, I'll put it in for you and it'll only be a few bucks, because they were hoping you would subscribe to all these channels. Right. Well, I remember me and my cousin, we would find the Cinemax channel or whatever, channel it was late at night if we were staying over at her house. And we would be like, this is how desperate you were at my generation and older. You would watch Scrambled Cinemax, softcore porn, hoping that for just a millisecond you could see an actual boob.
Well, could you imagine? Exactly. Imagine kids today. Remember, if we were on Merc or something, we were downloading porn when we were kids, and the whole time it took to download a picture, not a video.
Oh, even the download time.
Yeah, the download time. Can you imagine?
BBS? Is that what it was called? Were they called BBSs? Am I remembering this correctly?
Yeah.
Or
DBS. I think it was a DBS.
Oh yeah. Where you would just trade a picture. I remember this. Yep. I forget what teen year I was at for that one, but yeah. I mean, you had to work back in the day. Everything was work. Yeah. You had to put in work if you wanted to see anything.
There was an IRC chat where everybody traded pictures.
Internet Merc, man. Merc was the shit. I used to get all my porn. That's where I started learning about my mushrooms on Merc.
Oh, I don't even know what Merc is, so that's how old I am. I do not.
Internet relay chat. The one that actually the icon looks like your icon. It's a ghost, but it's an M. But
hold on, I gotta look it up. Let's look.
If I remember it correctly,
is it MERK or MERC?
No, MIRC.
MIRC.
If I remember correctly, I think it's the coloring is for some reason it's popping in my head.
It was rainbow.
Oh yeah, it's the M is blue, and then under it is IR is red, and then there's a Pac-Man, which is in the same vein. Pac-Man versus Ghost. Somebody was saying that somebody needs to go and reprogram an old Pac-Man video game so that all the Pinky, Stinky, or whatever the ghosts are, that they all are rainbow ghosts. And I was like, yes, please, somebody do that. That would be amazing.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, Merc. That's I somehow missed that one.
It is basic. It's like an older generation fucking Discord. Except you would have to go on there. Except you have to know your DOS commands. You would have to go to someone's server, log into their server through Merc. You need to be doing your catalog. Then you're opening folders and you're downloading one file at a time. So if you wanted to download,
it was kind of cool to chat though to people on there. It's I met a lot of cool people.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, a lot of it's stranger danger for sure. But
well, I think that there was a period of time there, when I was younger, and we had those the chat rooms, the old Yahoo, I believe, where you had to refresh the damn page every time. Yeah, but there was a time there of some pretty innocent internet time where you didn't really have to worry too much about creepy people. I have friends that I met way back when I was when I was teens on those chat rooms that I'm still friends with today. Nice. That we send cards and stuff to each other freaking 25 to 30 years later. And it's cool. But nowadays, I don't think you could do that. Meeting random strangers online is kind of sketchy. It's
I just don't talk to that many people that I feel super compelled to meet, to be honest. You got to be, really talking my language before I'd be like, yeah, let's meet up for coffee. I don't know.
Dude,
As I've gotten older,
some people out here
yeah,
are like, they'll just join the server. They'll be like, "Oh shit, you're in fucking New York, dude. I'm like fucking an hour away from you in Pennsylvania. We should hang out,
dude. You're in New York. I'm in Florida. We should hang out.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm very picky about who I invite to my house.
Oh,
like, just because I've had people like show up before, and oh Jesus, I got this like many moons ago when before I had met my wife and I was doing this online dating thing. Had a freaking chick show up. And she showed up with like all of her bags. I was like, wow, you're only staying the weekend.
Boy.
I was like, you're only staying the weekend. That's a lot of stuff. And she's like, giggle, ha. And I'm like, okay. So like Sunday rolls around. And I'm like, so when do I take you back to the airport or the bus stop or whatever? And she's like, oh, maybe later. And like, I'm like, oh, I got to go to work. She's like, that's okay. I'll just stay here and like clean and stuff. I'm like, I really don't want to leave you alone in my house. Anyway.
Oh no.
So
no.
I was way too nice. And so like 2 weeks goes by and I'm like, all right. At this point, I'm like, you were like, it's obviously we would be better as friends than like it wasn't going to work out. And I'm like, all right, now you need to go home. And she's like, well, here's the thing. I was kicked out, blah, 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 blah. So I was like, you need to go find a home. Yeah. So I dropped her ass off at the bus station. And, but that's actually happened to me more than once.
Oh, I think that happens to a lot of people.
Like, I'm really selective about who knows where the hell I live just because I'm always worried that somebody's going to try to move the fuck in, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
don't tell him you got a spare bedroom in the basement.
I have friends like like Deadpool. You guys are well. If you're in the freaking area, stop by. I do have a spare bedroom. Chill. We'll freaking have a beer. Great time. Maybe shoot some animals. You know. But I trust that you're gonna go the fuck home. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. You're like, sure, honey. We can meet up for a date. Send me a photo of your living situation first, though.
Exactly.
Like, I just need to know that you have somewhere to go home to. Yeah. Proof of habitat would be great. Yeah. But that brings up an interesting topic. I worked with a woman who I got to know pretty well. Me and a few other people hung out from time to time, and she ultimately one night confessed that her husband had beat her their entire marriage, and that she has wanted to leave him, but I was very young, and the job she had, she probably made $11 an hour. And so they had a few kids, and she basically said, like, because after she says this, we're like, fucking leave him, dude. Like, why do you live with an abusive husband? And she's like, well, I don't have a degree. I've really, only worked this stupid job. And she only worked part-time, usually 1 or 2, partial shifts a week. And she was like, so every time I think about leaving him, what am I going to do? How am I going to take care of my kids? I can't leave my kids with him. He is the breadwinner, but I can't leave my kids with him because if he doesn't have me to beat on, he'll probably start beating on my kids. And that was, I think I was 19 at the time when I'm hearing this, and I'm just like, oh, there are a lot of fucking people in really bad situations and they don't know how to get out of them. It's fucked up. So what do you do now that you got social media and you got Tinder and Match.com and eHarmony and all the shit? You get on the internet and you try to find a knight in shining armor. So that girl, Farrell, she thought she found her knight in shining armor. She packed. She was ready to go.
Yeah,
Poor hooker.
It wasn't. No. Yeah. See, you pay a hooker to go home afterwards. That's what
you pay for. That's what you're paying for, is to go home.
To go home and not bother you with anything afterwards.
Right.
Like.
I don't care what the test says. No. Yeah. You're supposed to leave.
But dude, I could not even imagine. Like, the stuff.
That's a fucked up situation, man. Some people are just it's so easy to be like, oh, judgy, and like all the this is why I'm not into religion. It just breeds this like superiority complex and the self-righteousness where it's like, oh, they're losers and I'm better than them. And it's like, you don't fucking know the shit they went through. It's sad. I mean, that woman should not have showed up at your house with her fucking bags. That's super fucked up. She was clearly really desperate.
No, she was crazy.
Oh.
Yeah, she was definitely the kind of person that had something going on, maybe a borderline personality disorder or something.
Yeah.
But she went full like clingy within like a couple of hours, like of like actually showing up. Yeah, she went straight into like, "Hey, I'm your new wife," kind of thing, and
so sad. Some people are so messed up.
Like, okay, my wife now, like, she showed up to the ranch. She came to the ranch and then just never went home. But at least it wasn't that kind of creepy. Like, it took a long time to talk.
But did she show up with bags?
No. She showed up for like a weekend stay, and then we had a great time. And then she's like, "I could really get into this lifestyle." And I'm like, "Yeah, you seem pretty awesome. I think, I'd like to see you some more." And then we just kept extending the time. And then it's like, feasibly, how much like vacation time do you have left at her work? And she was like,
right.
I was just like, another 2 weeks. I was like, take the 2 weeks. Let's do this. And so we just basically honeymooned for 2 weeks. And at the end of it, we're like, well, we'll decide like, hey, are we going to give this a 100% shot or not? And then she's like, I could totally do this. It's pretty cool. And I was like, yeah, you're pretty cool. Let's give it a shot. But we were already older, so it's not like we were in like our early 20s and stuff. We already knew what we wanted out of life and how we wanted to live. So it sounds kind of weird, but it worked out spectacularly. And I couldn't have accidentally found a better person. Although she does seem to hold me hostage occasionally. And she is quite violent. But,
I thought we were calling that stabby.
She is stabby. Well, the whole stabby thing is that, like, I was like, I have to travel for work some and be gone. I was like, I'm going to teach you self-defense. And so we were teaching, like, she was like, well, I know I carry a knife. And I was like, do you even know how to use it? And, so I taught her how to use knives, right? And part of that was that I'd give her a marker. We put on like shirts, and I was like, it's really hard you're going to get cut. If you're going to knife stab somebody, you're going to get cut. And this is how easy it is. So we just marked each other up. And ever since then, she's just like randomly, it gives me like fucking PTSD. Because like randomly, she'll just jump out from behind something and be like, shake, 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 shake. Just stab me with like a spoon or whatever the hell she's got, right? I'll be like in the shower. It's like 6 a.m. I'm getting ready for work. And she just like, surprise, motherfucker. Shake, 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 shake.
That is awesome.
Yeah. So it's like.
So what you're saying is she has at one time repressed, clearly now very open penis envy. And she's using the pretend knife is really like a phallic metaphor for her.
No, she's just.
I don't know what the fuck Geeky just said, but I think it sounds
she's
okay.
Just fully embrace her Mexican jiu-jitsu.
She's just practicing. She's just practicing.
Yeah, exactly. She's just fully
she's a good student.
Her aggressive side.
Yes.
And it keeps me on my toes, man. It's like, all right, you just listen. The house is quiet. All right, I'm going to get up. I'm going to go get a drink of water, let the dog out to go potty for the last time tonight, come back into bed. The room's too quiet. I don't hear any snoring or breathing. We'll try to tiptoe to the bed. Shake, 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 shake. It's like,
oh my God, dude. That's hilarious.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun, man. It's just like a stupid little, I guess.
All right, hold on.
Marriage game.
Right. We've already been doing this for an hour now. We have not talked about mushrooms at all.
Oh wait, this is a mushroom podcast?
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys.
Oh.
Sorry. When I'm the person
we just focused on the fuck around part.
Yeah. I completely.
We did too. We talked about how people can't fucking how it was really hard back in the day, and everybody's got to bitch ass easy now.
We were talking about, first off, we were talking about downloading porn. We were talking about fucking mushrooms.
It's true. We've talked about stabbing fetishes. We've talked about how hard it was to get porn as a child. We've talked about our failing and utterly and always corrupt healthcare system. We've talked about cancer protocols. I mean, yeah, we've
covered everything but.
We have talked about everything but mushrooms. It's true.
It happens more than you would think.
Hey, did you guys see the dementia trials with psilocybin? Did you watch that? Did you look at that? I saw it in the news the other day.
I have not, but I'm definitely at the point where I believe that there's a 50-50 chance that whatever fucking healthcare problem exists, it can probably be solved through psilocybin.
Well, hell yeah.
So here's something really, really interesting. So they were taking, you know how like you build up those amyloid plaques, right? And they interrupt the firing of the neurons in the brain, and it causes like, the dementia type.
It's like diabetes for your brain.
Yeah. Well, they found out that if they give them a subclinical dose of psilocybin, so not enough to fucking get them high as shit, right? But like in between a micro and a macro, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, depending on the size of the person, 250 to 500 milligrams. And the sweet spot was like 300, 320. As they were giving them this subclinical dose, it was organizing the firing in the brain, and the people were becoming more lucid. Like I was like, that's fucking sweet. And they did it in a brain, like a live brain scan at the same time. So like this was a reasonably big study that happened back east. And it happened over like the last like year and a half, and they were doing, it didn't have the biggest pool of people. It was only like 10 people and 10 controls, right? But the people got the sugar pill, people didn't. But the people that got the psilocybin, it was organizing the firing in the brain enough that they were like the people that had been just drooling on themselves and sitting there were able to talk to their family members, were able to remember faces and names. They were able to like talk again and become functional. They became like not 100% perfect, right? But like it was really, they were like, wow, I haven't talked to my mom in like 3 or 4 years. She's been like in a vegetative state. It was really awesome to say goodbye, kind of thing.
Right.
Where mom comes around and you can have a conversation with her again. I was like, fuck, that's cool. Like that's really, it organized the firing in the brain. I was like, that is freaking awesome. I was like, why aren't we fucking with this shit more? It makes me want to go out and like dose some freaking vegetative people and see what happens.
I'm gonna say this. My grandmother was suffering from all that stuff, and I was this close to doing it. Because my grandmother is probably one of the only people that I give a shit about in the world. Really, how you have me be how I am. I don't give a fuck about anything. But I almost did it only because at the end she was never there. She was obviously there, but I came this close, and that was only like 5-6 years ago. But if with all the information that's out now, I definitely would have done it. Definitely.
100%. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, finally, just think where we would have been right now if instead of getting afraid of all the hippies, they embraced the early research and just kept going.
Well, it's because the hippies fucked it up.
I think that
the hippies fucked it up. Well, who was that guy? One guy came out really strong, and he was really, instead of going, wow, I'm saying some really crazy shit, it's going to really scare some people, I'm going to tone it down, I'm going to try to win some wins. He didn't do that. He just went like extreme. I'm drawing a blank on what this guy's name was, but that guy advocated so hard. He just freaked the hell out of everybody. And so all, the Nixon people, they were just like, this is going to be real bad if we don't,
Well, and plus, once the government or Big Pharma realizes that mushrooms are going to start taking money out of their pockets because everything is natural and you can do this at home without having to do all. Then it's over. It's over. It's over.
It's over.
I was just talking with some people about that. Did you see Johnson & Johnson's trying to patent the psilocybin extract? Like the actual psilocybin.
I've been doing that shit for fucking damn near 10 years. You can
but they're trying to patent the molecule. And it's like, dude, this is.
I didn't think you could patent a natural.
Well, that's what they're trying to do, right?
Yeah.
This is why they were sequencing. Sequencing the whole human genome was a big deal. I don't know the specifics, but they had to run Sanger sequencing on just little parts. So they had to find all the primers for every part and figure out if they got it all. That's why it took, would it take 10 or 20 years to get this all done? So now we've sequenced the whole genome. And the whole reason they did it from day one was because if we know the whole genome, now all these labs, if they find their part, if they get their novel primer, if they get in there and they find an important part and they can isolate it and they can play with it, they can then invent shit to fuck with it and patent all that stuff.
Yeah, they have now a cure for very specific types of cancer that is completely patented based on genetics, and it's really a miracle drug. But like, hey, if you go and like get the genetic study like MycoGeeky was talking about, and you turned out to have the susceptible type of cancer, you can go and buy the patented fucking drug that's made. I think AI suggested it originally, and it's like a miracle drug. It works great. It's like cancer gone.
Don't get me wrong. Those genetic things are awesome. I think if they're done that way, but that's like the people that go in for the full body scans and they spend $1,000. Right. And now all of a sudden you got this little dot. You got this dot on your lung. You don't know what it is, but then they want to do tests and everything else. So, I mean, everything can be abused by the fucking.
Dude, you had that fucking dot already.
They don't care about that dot
already.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
They don't care about a dot. But what they will do, we do this all the time. We'll be like, oh, we saw a growth. So all they do is they have thresholds for size. And based on the size, that'll dictate when they want you to have a follow-up CT scan. And then, so let's say it's 1 centimeter or half a centimeter. You go back 6 or 12 months later, you get the scan again. If it's grown, now they're going to want to biopsy it. So, I mean, I don't know about manipulating that, but they don't have to do that because we live in a country where everybody's sick. And there's plenty of people who have problems, and all they got to do is show up to the doctor. It's like when you go to the cheap oil change place, right? And then they scan your codes and they got 100 things for you to get fixed on your car every time you just get your fucking oil change.
Oh yeah.
But God, the stuff, that kind of shit kills me. It's like, I fight with my wife about that. Like, she's like, I don't want to go to the doctor. What if there's something wrong? I was like, yeah, there's something fucking wrong. And it doesn't matter. Like,
yeah.
Just knowing about it's not going to make it worse, but ignoring it would make it worse, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be
I'm
wrong
on your wife's team on
one way or the other. It's going to be fucking wrong one way or the other. Like if somebody suspected that they had like cancer, right? Like, and you're like, I'll just ignore it. It's the stupidest shit you can fucking do. You could turn something that could be as easy as, hey, you can go hit the proton knife therapy and let's just knock this bitch out, to now you've got to do 20 rounds of freaking chemo and some invasive surgery to remove lymph glands and shit.
Yeah.
So I'm a big one for about preventative freaking medicine. Go to your goddamn checkups, even if they're scary, and get that shit done so that you can catch something early. I lost a really good my really good friend who was like kind of like a dad surrogate, right? From 30 fucking years ago. His wife, she started feeling really sick. She refused to go to the doctor. It got to where she would throw up after every freaking meal. Refused to go to a freaking doctor. She's like, well, what if there's something wrong? I was like, there's something freaking wrong. Like, but now we need to figure out what it is. It took forever and ever and ever to get her to go to the doctor. She goes to the doctor, finds out she's got stage 4 freaking stomach cancer with the tumor the size of a freaking cantaloupe and mets in her brain, her heart, lung, kidneys, everywhere. And she was dead within like 4 weeks after going to the doctor.
Yeah.
It was a completely treatable type of fucking cancer that if she'd went to the doctor the year before when she started having symptoms, like where she was having like stomach upset and couldn't like eat and hold stuff down, that they could have just easily resectioned to some part of her stomach and she'd been fine. Like she'd been fine. Like they were like, it's complete. It responds 100% to surgery. It was completely unneeded that she died from this. And it's like you see that a lot with people with brain cancer. Like they've got a tremor in their hand, or they have difficulty seeing out of one eye, and they just fucking ignore it until next thing you know, they've got a glioblastoma the size of a freaking navel orange, and they're having seizures. And it's like, God, go get like the worst thing that happens. I tell people, oh, well, I don't have insurance. Then just don't pay the fucking bill.
Yeah, just don't pay the bill.
Yeah, that's how it works in America. Just don't fucking pay it. What are they going to do? They can't fucking take your house. They can't take your fucking car.
Can't in New York.
They can't.
What?
They can put judgments and everything else in New York for medical bills.
They can do judgments, but they're not going to take your house.
They could put a lien against your house.
They can put a lien against your house.
That doesn't matter. They can't. That's not them taking your house. That's if you sell your house.
I know what a lien is. I'm just saying, but you guys are acting like, oh, I don't have to pay anymore. But then you can never move again. You can never do this. You can never do that. So
I don't plan on selling my house.
I can tell you this right now: the amount of people that. So there's just two kinds of people. There's the kind of people that know that as long as you don't give a fuck about your credit score, you can not pay a lot of bills. And then there are the people that care about their credit score or don't know this. I mean, in the ER, as soon as we do the primary assessment, the registration lady is just waiting to come talk to you to collect your billing information. And she says, do you want to pay the copay today, or would you like me to send you the bill? And most people in the know who know how to utilize resources and kind of know how things work, they go, oh, no, send me the bill. I'm not going to pay that right now. And everybody that doesn't, oh, how much is it? Okay, I'll pay it right now. It's just two kinds of people.
Yeah. Like if there's something seriously wrong with you, like you've got cancer or something, then your next step should be form an LLC and put your freaking significant other in charge of it. And then fucking put everything in the LLC, the house, the car, everything else. And the LLC, take your fucking name off the goddamn LLC, and then just say, "Bill me, bitches." Fucking do whatever you want. I own 4 things, and one of them's a pocket watch. You can have it, But and more people need to do that. I mean, I'm not advocating for you to go out there and scam, but fuck paying and I'm in the medical field, but fuck what we charge. It's ridiculous. Like it's stupid. With a bag of freaking saline, I could go on right fucking now and go to MedVet International and buy, which is a badass website that I strongly suggest everybody go to. I go to MedVet International and buy a bag of fucking saline for $1, and an IV catheter for 25 cents, and a thing of tubing, a 10-drop set for 72 fucking cents, and have that shipped to my house and give my own damn self an IV when I'm hungover for less than $2. But you go to the freaking hospital and you've got a stomach flu or bug or something, it's $250 for that same setup.
Yeah,
I was about to ask. I've heard about a book before. I think it was some video where they actually show the prices of what the hospital pays for something, and then the price they actually charge for it.
Yeah, well, it's like Tylenol.
Over 100, like 150%. Right.
No, Tylenol is $500, dude. If they give it to you, it's $500.
Get the fuck out of here. I think y'all need to be shot.
Because when you get administered medicine in the hospital, you're not just paying for the medicine, which will be radically overpriced. You are paying for the care of being monitored to be administered and then monitoring the effects of that medicine.
Right, but the whole point also is now these prices are so high is because of insurance companies as well, correct?
Yes. Yeah. Oh yeah, 100% insurance companies.
I'm assuming that because between big pharma and insurance companies, if neither one of those really existed to the point that we let them get to in our lives, we would have normal health care.
Everybody kind of bitches about big pharma, okay? And I understand that everybody hates big pharma because Tylenol is $500 at the hospital, but that's not where that $500 comes from. Yep. Most of the big pharma stuff is you need it for the research to find the drugs. All right. And then now when they have an orphan drug or a drug that only treats a certain thing, it still costs them $250 million to research that fucking drug. They've got to make a return on their investment somehow because they have a fleet of people that they had to pay to do that. I understand that. But when you have a drug like insulin, okay, where you have a absolute massive quantity of people who require it, there's no reason you should be charging $1,000 a dose for that shit.
No.
Well, I understand that part as well, but what I'm asking is,
insulin's brewed like beer.
They don't pay the same price as somebody without insurance. So
no, they don't. The
insurance company, so they can pay less, and then you would pay if you just
the hospital administration team is who comes up with the prices, and they usually, you can shop around for healthcare. I did. I shopped hard for like the last time my wife needed a surgery. Is that we went around to different places. We're like, give us the cash price. They're like, well, let's see your insurance. Nope, cash. If I give you the cash right fucking now, how much does it cost? Now you can do this. You can do this. Anybody can do this. The cash price is drastically fucking different. So to get my wife the surgery my wife needed, if we had used the insurance, it was going to be really close to $75,000, and then we'd have to pay our like copay and everything else. Then some of the stuff wasn't covered because there was a second doctor involved and blah blah blah, right? But I was like, what's the cash price? The cash price on it was $10,000 cash. That was it.
Yep.
I was like, and to me, and you know what? Part of the reason the insurance is so expensive, so when you go to the doctor, the insurance company takes some of that cash and puts it in a short-term, high interest account. So they get money off that interest rate. So they hold that money for 9 to 10, sometimes 12 months before they pay the hospital. So the hospitals are constantly running on a 12. So like if you go to the hospital today, your insurance isn't going to pay that hospital for almost a year. And so the hospital has to run on a deficit all the time. So they overcharge because they know that they're not going to get that money. The hospital's not going to get $500 for the Tylenol. They're going to get reimbursed maybe $35, $40 for the Tylenol, which is still ridiculous. But they charge so much so they have more room to negotiate. And it's stupid, but it's a self-fulfilling fucking prophecy that they built between themselves and their suppliers and Big Pharma, as they all argue. So if there's no good way to fix the health system. Because if we take and we go, all right, we're going to nationalize this thing, then we've run into a problem like what Canada has, where it's like, hey, I think I might have cancer. You can't just go and schedule a CT scan because you might be on a 6-month wait for that. And by the time you've got it, it's everywhere in your body, or you died waiting for your first CT scan.
Right.
So, so we've got that problem. We've got that problem. America's health system, for all of its fucking flaws, if you have something wrong with you, you can go get it fucking fixed fast, quick, fast, in a freaking hurry. Mind-blowingly fast. And a lot of times is like, I paid the cash to get it was a Monday. I paid the cash for my wife to get surgery. Tuesday morning, she had the freaking surgery. Wednesday morning, I signed the paperwork, paid in full. Done. Right? Took her home. So it's super easy if you know how to work the system. So if you go to like a standalone ER, you ask them for the cash price. How much is this going to happen? They will hand you a piece of paper with cash prices on it. Like say, hey, I need a quote. I think my arm's broken. I need a quote. Here's what I want. I want an x-ray to confirm. I want some pain meds. And I want a cast. And they're like, well, we're going to need to run blood work. Why? Why do you need to run blood work with a fucking broken arm? You don't need to run that. So
they're basically, you're telling me that when people go to the hospital and they're in no state of mind to think for themselves because they're in tons of pain, that the hospitals basically railroad them, add shit on that they don't need, simply because they know that people don't know to ask not to have it.
That's not why, in my opinion. I'll tell you why it happens. It happens because doctors don't like getting sued.
Yeah.
And so they're covering their ass every second. There's the way they would love to practice medicine, which is a little more old school.
Well, that I understand completely. That I understand completely. Cover your ass because we've turned into a Sue Happy society.
Because we're Sue Happy society.
Med school is 3 years of fucking med school and like fucking 5 years of theory and not getting sued. It seriously is. It seriously is.
Yeah.
It's 3 years of actual fucking medicine, actual freaking like A&P, actual pharmacology, all that fun stuff, doing some cool rotations, and then the rest of it is all about admin and not getting sued and doing fucking stupid death by PowerPoint and all these stupid ass other shit. You could condense it down if you could get rid of that bullshit down into 4 hard, fast years and turn out much higher quality doctors that are willing to take little bitty risks. If you can get rid of the litigated society that we live in, where everybody's like,
or give people the choice, right? Or give them the choice where it's like, okay, Grandpa, you're on Eliquis. You bumped your head into the cabinet door, and you got a little little laceration on your forehead. And now I'm cool sending you home because you don't seem to you're competent. You're alert and oriented. You can answer questions. You seem with it. You know who you are. You know who I am. You know where you're at. All this good stuff. So I feel like I could send you home. And based on what you just described, the odds that you have a subdural or a subarachnoid hemorrhage going on, or some little aneurysm, probably unlikely. Probably had to hit your head a lot harder than that. But we don't do that. We go, well, just in case any of those really scary, life-threatening things are happening, you're going to get your head scanned.
Blood work. We're going to check your fucking,
everything.
capacity.
You're going to get your head scanned.
We're going to get your head scanned. Yeah, we're going to monitor you for 10 fucking hours. We're going to and that's what. Stuff. Yeah, that the litigative society bullshit. It's what I'm advocating for is if you have a little bit of medical knowledge, is that you can make your trips to the hospital much more affordable and get exactly what the fuck you want. The last time I had a bad freaking infection. I had a big spider bite that I got infected. I knew exactly what the fuck I wanted. Right? I cannot reach it where it's at, so I cannot IND it inside the drain. I need you to do that. I want you to stuff it, and I want blah 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 antibiotics. And they're like, well, if you just know what you're doing. I was like, yeah, I fucking do. Trust me, I can totally do this myself if I can fucking reach.
Why wouldn't you just do that on the bus, dude, while you're working? Go, hey, buddy.
Because my partner sucked ass and refused to help me, and my wife was terrified of cutting me. She just wants to stab.
So this was when you first met then.
Yeah. And so I was like, it's like it was a really fast and easy thing. Like, are you sure that's all you want? I'm like, yeah. Okay, well, here's your bill. And it was cheap. It was like $285 without insurance because I knew exactly what I wanted. And I got it done. I was like, I'll do my own wound care. I'm good to go because I'm competent on that crap. But like, it might not be for the average Joe, but I do think that they should teach. There should be like in high school, right? Like a general medical knowledge class.
Oh, well, what if all our sciences were through the lens of your own physical health?
Yeah. Okay. I like that. Fucking let's do that.
And biology were all framed primarily through the only biology that every citizen in our country really has to be worried about is their own body's biology. The only chemistry we should really know about is our own body's chemistry, physics, etc. So you could completely reframe all those concepts are taught and actually then have citizens that know better, but they're never going to do that, Farrell, because then people make better decisions and they make less money.
I love that fucking idea. When I'm emperor, that shit's happening. I don't give a shit. Yes. When I'm emperor, that's happening. So shall it be decreed. But
cool. I love it. When you're emperor, I want to be the wizard that's always in the fringes. That when some mystical idea needs to occur, I'll just sneak out and I'll just whisper in your ear, and then you'll go, and we're good. Yeah.
Yeah, you're now the court magi.
Perfect. I like that. I can do magi. So I have a question. If there's one magi, what is the plural for multiple magi? Is it just magi? Or is it magis?
Magis?
I don't know.
Magicians.
Magicians?
What's a flock of magi?
Yes, that's what I was thinking. What is a flock of magi? Exactly.
It's gotta be
bad that I'm actually Googling that to see if there is a flock of magi.
What's a group of magi called?
Dude, for some reason that just made me think of we just went to a restaurant and one of the people I was with asked the waitress, she was super young, probably 18. They were like, "Oh, do you guys have shrimp cocktail?" And I swear to God, she goes, "We don't serve alcohol."
What?
It's like, shrimp cocktail. Do you have it?
I swear we're getting dumber as society.
And at that point, she knew she said something stupid, but she was like, "No, I don't think we have that."
It's a flock of magi. A flock of magi.
Okay, there we go. Official. It's a flock of magi.
Man, like stupid people. I have a very, very expressive face, and I can't hide when like somebody says something stupid. What I can control what I say, but my face goes, "You're a fucking dumbass," right? Yeah. It's got me in so much trouble. Because I'm trying to say nice things, but my face just gives them this look like they crawled out of a toilet or something. And I'm like, I can't control it. It's just
that was the one good thing about wearing the masks was I could do things with my bottom part of my face. Yes, that I couldn't otherwise do.
Walking around sticking your tongue out at people all day long.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like people.
That's why people kept looking at me weird because I was wearing the gloves on my fingers.
I still I still occasionally wear my respirator when we get like a upper respiratory or COVID patient, just because I don't want to bring that shit home. But like I really actually kind of enjoyed the masks because you know how long it's been since I smelled a septic bowel. God,
yes, that is true. Yeah. You did smell less things.
Oh, it was glorious because I wore an actual fucking respirator.
And you're wearing a real respirator, not a fucking shitty ass fucking mask. They were making everybody walk around outside. It was
so glorious not smelling anything for those years. Not having to it's like walk in there and this patient's got C. diff and they've shit everywhere and you're like, I can't smell shit. It's great. But
come on, Farrell. Once you smell C. diff, it can never be unsmelled.
Oh, Jesus Christ. You could walk into a hospital, go third floor, second room. Yeah, it's like somebody's got C. diff. You could drive down on a cool or a cool still day or like one of these hot, humid Texas evenings and go, there's a dead body in that house.
Is it because the cats were pawing on the door, or you could
once you've smelled actual human cadaver, you could always smell it a million miles, really far away.
I've seen a lot of dead people. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
You ever had a decayed ass human?
Not a decayed ass human, a dead ass person.
Yeah, well, there's blood, but you could smell human blood like crazy. But
see,
it's like
you guys, I do not have the full EMS experience. If they're dead, I do not end up seeing them. So fortunately, I have never smelled a truly fresh brewed 5-day-old dead person. Yeah, and I do not want to.
I've seen freshly dead and recently dead. Never have I seen dailies dead.
I don't really want to. Like if we go, I can smell. I'm like, that dude's dead. Just send the freaking cops in the corner. They can go in there. I ain't going in there. He's dead. He's dead. But and it's like because they do a welfare check. Like I haven't seen Grandma in about a week. You're like, did you guys go and check on her? No. Why didn't you guys go and check on her? Well, we're just busy. It's like, great. So you're going to send me over to go find your dead ass grandma. You go over there and like, you can smell like from the front porch, like she dead. She's been dead a while, and it's got this sickly, sweet, maggoty, infested fucking smell mixed with like dead poultry and like week old cat on the side of the road. I guess that'd be like the best way, the bouquet of dead.
I've already shut my brain off. I refuse to imagine that smell. No, thank you.
Can I tell you the most like horrible? We had go check on grandma call, right? And grandma was alive, but so I'll give you the just let you know that she wasn't dead. So it's like 1 a.m. and the pastor of the church calls and he's like, I prayed on it, and I just haven't seen this lady. She always makes it to church like on Wednesdays and Sundays, and we haven't seen her this week. So we're just wanting to know if somebody she doesn't have any like family or anything, and she kind of lives alone. If somebody go stop by and check on her trailer, blah 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 blah. So we're like, we're gonna go smell a dead body. We get outside and it's like no dead body smell. I'm like, okay. So we start shining lights in the window and looking on the floor, and there's just hundreds and hundreds of cat prints everywhere. So it took a second because you're like, it's like just cheap ass white linoleum, like with like the little green corners and squares, like the old like 1970s fucking white linoleum, and just like, oh shit, that's blood. That the cat's been walking through blood and just fucking walking everywhere, right? With all these cats. So when we make entry, we go in there. We're calling around, can't find anything. This lady had fallen and broken her hip, and then everything was up on her counter, so she couldn't reach her phone, couldn't reach anything, and was just kind of crawling around. Her fucking cat started eating her ass.
Stop it.
So they had been eating her buttocks, and then
that just proves. Okay, hold on. That just proves my theory. Cats hate us. They only tolerate us because we feed them.
So
and look at the minute she died. Look at what that cat did.
She wasn't dead. She wasn't fucking dead. So she ended up rolling, I guess, on. You could see where she'd like left like smear marks all through the house trying to get away from the cats, and then you could she rolled over onto her fucking front and they ate her left tit, like all the way down to licking the breastbone.
Speaking of feral, that is some seriously cruel cats right there.
She had like 10, 12 fucking cats. She couldn't feed them for a couple of days, so the cats ate her. They've been in there. And so we get there. I was like, dude, she dead. Like, she's got bite marks on her lips or like, and then like she blows a bubble, a bloody bubble. I was like, oh, fuck. And so we pick her up. She's comatose, but alive. These cats are just like, we're like backing out of there with like flashlights. We're just like, are they gonna jump on us? Are they gonna, don't touch me? The cats are like all happy to see us. Like, hey, hey, human. And we're like, just leave the door open so they run out. Just leave them alone. We called animal control. The animal control guy came and threw up. And I was like, can we just lock the door and burn it down with all the cats inside? But the lady ended up living like a week in ICU and then finally freaking dying just from massive infections. But I was like, and at the same time, okay, that's cats. All right. Now we've got many calls where the owner had fallen and gotten hurt or died, and they had a dog, and the dog just laid down next to him and fucking sat there until it starved to death or died too. Like woohoo! Dogs are lightning. So freaking loyal. It's one of the scariest situations you can be in. Is to be called to a house that has dogs that has somebody hurt inside. So like, lady, old dude breaks an arm, breaks a hip, or has a heart attack, and he's got like, a couple of dogs with him. Those dogs they're like, hey, dad's hurt or mom's hurt or whatever. I'm going to have to protect them. Yeah. And so we don't want to have to beat the dog. We don't want to call animal control or something. So we always try to get like a family member. Hey, can you come get fucking spot, because he's gonna kick our ass. But yeah, like one time we get a call. They're like, "Hey, this guy's dead, but we can't. We think he's might be dead." So we do a welfare check. We walk in this house dead silent. We're like, "Hey, nobody's making any noise." Like, "Hey, we're here." Blah blah blah. And my partner's like, "Hey, there's a dog food dish." I was like, "Is it a big fucking dish or a small dish?" They're like, "It's a big fucking
5-gallon bucket."
Yeah, it's a big fucking dish. So we're like already thinking, all right, it's gonna be a big dog. Walk around the thing, and the owner had a heart attack and he had died, and just like fell off the sofa and was just laying on the ground. And standing over the top of him is just this massive Roddy, a massive Rottweiler. And we're like, "Good puppy, we're here to check on your dad, and he looks dead." And he was just guarding his dad, like he was just standing over the top of him, pissed the fuck off.
Dogs are loyal. Dogs are loyal.
We're trying to take his dad, and ended up having to get animal control. Animal control, came in there and got the dog and put him in a crate, and then one of the family members came and picked the dog up. We're like, "Don't you dare hurt that dog. He's a good doggy. He just had to watch his dad die." We're all like, we're not crying for the guy, but we're like, "You be nice to the puppy." And the puppy's like, "I'm going to rip your face off because my dad's hurt," We don't care how many animal control guys die. We just want the puppy to be fine.
Guys.
And then all you guys that have to enter people's homes and enter that world, man, you have a perspective. I mean, I got a little bit of it when I was a contractor because, you just enter people's homes for a while. But boy, oh boy. Yeah, you guys really get to see the broad. You have a broad picture of how people live when they close their front door. And
dude, until you start installing alarm systems in the fucking hood of Buffalo, and you go down into a basement where these people keep their dogs, and instead of picking up dog shit, they push into the corners so that it doesn't, there's no longer corners like in the fucking basement.
I've been to houses like that.
I mean.
God. Or humans are so dirty, man. Humans are so
you know how people really live when they get talked into buying an alarm system the day before, and they're gonna cancel it and forget to cancel. You show up, and now you have to go through all their shit to run with lines and wires.
Freaking there's this new generation of gamer kid who's really, really, really dirty, right? They wear diapers and shit. So they don't have to get up.
Too late to get up and piss because they can't leave the computer?
Yeah, because they're playing in a tournament or something. Who the fuck
doesn't put a jar by the damn computer?
No, they'll just shit themselves. Wipe with the fucking diaper, throw the diaper in the corner, throw on another fucking diaper. And they get sick, because they've been in their own crap or whatever. And then you have to go and check on him. And you get down there, it's a 350-pound dude in a fucking diaper with a pile of fucking diapers in the corner. And there's $10,000 worth of computer equipment. And he's playing some fucking new video game. And a lot of these guys that are streamers, that are just talking while they're streaming, that's what they're like. You guys that's what they're like. That's why they don't have a camera on themselves, because they're some 350-pound fucking dude shitting himself, and just talking about playing fucking Minecraft. So and it's gross, man. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them.
Oh, I believe you.
I hate to be the one to pull the plug, but I had an appointment at noon because I figured we'd be done by 11:30, but. Farrell.
We've had
some fucking meat.
I did. It was
all good.
Glorious. Well, we try to end this thing. We try to. MycoGeeky, plug your shit. Go, quick.
All my shit's plugged in. No, I'm kidding. Sorry, I had to get a dad joke in there. Yeah, so if you guys don't know who I am, then this is probably a super weird conversation for you guys. You would never know that I love magic mushrooms, and I think that they can help a lot of people out. And I run a podcast to try to help people.
What's your podcast about?
Fill in the gaps. It's really about getting to know the various people in the mushroom cultivation community and hearing, picking their brains and learning about how they choose to grow mushrooms. And it's cool. It's fun to get to hear different perspectives and maybe pick up a few tricks here and there. I'm assuming
you have to come back now, right? Because now we actually have to have a mushroom show.
We'll actually talk about mushrooms one of these days.
You guys have your FAFO medical show.
We'll do it. Yeah. So I do that. I've been doing that now for it's over a year. I think a year and a half, close to 2. I think I'm coming up on 2 years in October.
Sweet.
But yeah. Nice. So in 30 years, I'll have grown mushrooms as long as Slightly Feral has.
What's your YouTube channel? What's your website?
I don't know. You just search MycoGeeky Podcast, MycoGeeky podcast.
I'll pull it up. I'll put the link down in the description for you.
Cool.
Wait, how long did you say you just say you were growing mushrooms for?
I started middle of October 2021.
Oh yeah, so the same amount of time as Feral's been growing is what you said.
No.
No, that's what I heard. I was like, wait a second. I didn't think you were growing that long.
No. Yeah, coming up on 2 years. So
you've been doing good, though. You've been doing great.
And I look at it like this. The way I am such an very intense person. So it's almost like dog years. So me doing something for 1 year is probably like somebody doing something for about 4 years would be my guess. Like a normal, neurotypical person that doesn't become obsessed and think about it every waking second of the day, which is kind of how I roll. So I think I know a few things. I just picked everybody's brain. I'm very strategic. I was like, okay, I don't know how to do this thing. I had a drum teacher for a while who said he used to be the drummer for Michael Jackson and Prince and all these people. And somebody asked him at a workshop one time, what do you think the secret to all those people's success was? And he said, I think that those people succeeded because they sought out the best information they could find. And so that ever since I heard that was like 20 years ago, I just use that as a rule of thumb. Okay, I want to do something. I want the best information. I'm going to talk to the people that seem to really know what they're doing. And so I think I can learn from other people's mistakes. I am not one of those people that has to, get good advice and then completely ignore it. So I start with the good advice. And I think that definitely helped me figure a few things out. So do you use
ProMark?
ProMark.
You know what I'm talking about then? They said you got a drum?
You're talking about drums. I'm sorry. You went straight to drums. I have. Yeah, I have. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I like Aquarian heads. Drumsticks, I'm less particular about. I happen to use a pair that one of my buddies who became a more successful drummer than me, he made a pair of drumsticks, and I happen to like those.
Dude, the guy that taught me, his thing was, he was the original drummer for Bon Jovi.
Whoa. That is cool. Very cool. Yeah.
I guess.
Original.
The original garage band drummer for Bon Jovi.
Nice.
So Ronnie.
Yeah.
There you go.
I really don't play that much anymore. When I was younger, I played more, but yeah.
All right, guys.
Anyway, cool, man. Yeah. So we'll do this again, and we'll hire someone to keep us on topic, and we'll talk about mushrooms.
I just got to get my sound thing going again. I got to get my goat.
The goat bleed. Guys, it was great talking to y'all. Great to have you on, MycoGeeky, and we'll definitely have to talk to you again. Cool. Guys, if you'd like to support the show, you can go ahead and do that through the FAFOCult Etsy. We have all sorts of cool stuff on there. It's FAFOCult.etsy.com. If you'd like to send us some money, we promise to use it for pure debauchery.
Hookers and below.
You can do that through the FAFOCult Venmo. It's going to be at FAFOCult, or through CashApp. That's going to be $FAFOCult. You can go ahead and send us some hate mail or questions or just anything you want. And it's going to be FAFOCult.gmail.com. And we'll have the links to our Discord, the links to MycoGeeky's podcast, and a bunch of other MycoGeeky stuff down there in links in the description. And thank you for coming on, guys. It's been a great episode. It's been a lot of fun. I enjoyed talking to y'all.
Thanks, man.
Thank you, buddy.
All right, cool. We'll talk soon.
Talk to you later.
Yes, sir. Have a great day.
Peace.
Cool. I'll get this cleaned up and